What's up, guys? This is Dave from The Disorderly, joined once again by my good buddy, Mr. Andrew Volpe. We're kind of back for our semi-regular segment where we kind of talk about books that have been adapted and kind of made into a shell of what they once were, into the film or TV or whatever have you. So this such occasion, we're going to talk about Hold the Dark. How was it?
Yeah, so I had heard about this movie, or I think we read an article about it like a month ago, and we're both, Jeremy Saulnier fans, both like Blue Ruin and Green Room. They're great movies. He's great talent. I think he's a local Virginia cat too, so I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, I don't know, just everything he seems to do, I've been all about. So when I heard that they were dropping it on Netflix, I thought that might be a good segment for our read the book, watch the movie comparison. And honestly, I kind of hated myself for saying that, because I had a hard time. I don't know if reading the book before watching this movie made it a worse movie watching experience for me, because I was just constantly comparing. Like, I don't know if knowing where it's going really affected my viewing of the movie, and if I don't know, I was surprised how not affected by the movie I was, even though I really liked the book, and I just can't tell if I would have liked it way more had I just not known all that stuff going into it.
Well,
how about you?
Yeah, it's interesting. So we'll give it a shout out to the author. It's Will Giraldi, right? Giraldi.
Sure.
And because you kind of pitched this one, you were like, oh, hey, this might be a good one. It's a pretty recent book. I think 2014. I think he published it. So yeah, it hasn't been hasn't been out there that long, but it's very. It's pretty it's very kind of dark, Cormac McCarthy, kind of very economical writing, sparse dialogue, kind of grim, kind of stuff like that. So it kind of falls right into our wheelhouse of stuff. Very much fits in with the director and kind of his work and things like that. So a little bit interesting because, and full spoilers here, and we're going to give a quick plot rundown. But if you're listening, you probably either seen the film or read the book. You kind of want to know either one or how we felt about it. But, just to kind of we're going to go full spoilers into the book, to the movie, everything in between. So if you're holding out, come back and listen to this later. But, it's fairly... I thought it was a fairly faithful adaptation until the last, 20 minutes, right? I mean...
Yeah, and I think it was mostly just things that they omitted. Like, I wonder if they shot it and just, ended up cutting it, because there's definitely, little nods to things in the book that they don't really explain in the movie, particularly towards the end. Mm-hmm. And once again, I don't know if having that knowledge was making me enjoy the movie experience less, because...
No. It made me a little bit miserable, because I'm watching it and I'm like, how are they gonna wrap this up? Or I wonder how they're gonna show this. And right. They just kind of, the movie ended. Just, what I mean? So, but just kind of, to give it a quick plot rundown, the film is based... kind of the core of the story for the book, anyhow, is that, a very small village in Alaska has basically been kind of plagued by having these children murders by wolves. So, wolves are just kind of dragging these poor kids up into the hills and eating them, kind of a deal, and as they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those stories.
Yeah, so a mother who lost her 6-year-old son kind of writes to an aging, kind of suicidal... Yeah, I was like, well, how do you describe him? But he's kind of... This is a very kind of kind of an Ethan Coen feel, Coen Brothers feel, kind of this character where he's kind of an aging
kind of schmucky a little bit.
But the book version I enjoyed better than Jeffrey Wright from Westworld kind of portrays him in the film. And Jeffrey Wright,
I thought he did
played it
good
so
job.
Brutal though, you know what I mean?
Well, and it sucks too because he's like kind of a schmucky in the book. He's kind of, I feel like there's things in the book that you forgive more because it's just a book and like it just won't translate as well to screen. Because even in the movie, I noticed that it felt like they had to shoehorn in Jeffrey Wright's character a little bit more. Like he's in the movie more because he's supposed to be, I guess, like the audience surrogate. Like he's the one person that kind of is also an outsider, just like us and everything. And they even say he's supposed to just be there to be a witness and tell the story and everything. But he's so milquetoast. It's like he's so like like not very. There isn't that many like great qualities about him. He's kind of cowardly and he's got a shitty relationship with his daughter and he doesn't really know what he's doing there.
So let's go back to the plot here. So he plays, so Jeffrey Wright's character is a man named Core, who is a wildlife writer, and kind of wrote a book about wolves and, kind of a, sort of a, I don't know what you call him, but kind of, I'm trying to, he wouldn't be kind of a Bear Grylls, but he's almost closer to like an unsuccessful Bourdain maybe, where he's kind of like, kind of a writer who has a little bit of knowledge. He kind of published a book a while ago and got some acclaim, but he's clearly like an alcoholic. His wife either died or left him. I can't.
Yeah, well, in the book, the wife's in a coma, and they never end up saying that in the movie. They just kind of like actually did kind of like. Now, yeah. Well, I do gotta say, I was pretty on board with the movie for the first like 15 minutes, I think, like because they do show that how like kind of weird his life is. Very
they set the table, you know what I mean? Where
I like that shot where he's like leaving his house and you see all of the drawings of the wolves in the house as he's like turning off the Christmas lights, and you can see that he's all alone and everything, because it does you do wonder why the hell he's kind of responding to this letter he gets sent by Medora.
Right. So the mother of the boy sends a letter saying, "Please, can you come, track down this wolf to gain some kind of closure for herself." So he kind of, he goes out of kind of a weird feeling of compassion, but almost guilt. I think
it's also. I think, he's also got a daughter that he's estranged from, who he mentions lives in Anchorage, which is apparently close by. So you kind of get a sense that maybe he's going to try to see his daughter, too, and maybe using this as an excuse. But it's not spelled out explicitly, I would say.
Right. He's not really trying to save his daughter is like, 40-something years old, right? So she's...
Yeah, she teaches at a college or something.
Yeah, so it kind of goes from there. And then, this woman's kind of all alone in her kind of cabin. Her husband is away in Iraq, I suppose.
And she's she's this one Nordic, like, super-duper white-looking person in a village of native people kind of far away. And she... even though in the book she is like described as kind of like weird and aloof from the get-go, and you can tell something's up with her like as soon as you meet her before the twist is revealed.
Because if you're watching the film, you can kind of go, well, she's been through a lot. You know what I mean? She's probably she's been through what people largely agree upon that is probably the worst thing ever is to bury your child, or to not, in this case, not even to be able to bury your child, but your damn child got taken by wolves. So he's been, he's getting eaten up in a valley.
Yeah,
somewhere,
like that's he's just like a pile of bones.
He's just a pile of gore somewhere in the Alaskan wilderness. Yeah, so that's pretty brutal. So she asks Core to come and at least get some of those damn bones back, so that hey, she's like, my husband is coming. I can't have any. I need something to be able to show him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and does she want him to shoot the wolf that did it?
That's
or
what
something
she
too? Is
says,
that part of
but
it?
he kind of like big,
Like you can't really
kind of like big
do
times
that.
her. Yeah, he's like, well, because I mean, his whole attitude to the wolves is like, well, they
This is science.
yeah,
There's
they're
no
not monsters.
maliciousness
They're just,
in nature.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, they're
they
hungry.
do this. They'll eat their young. They'll do kind of whatever, to
Right.
kind of make it happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, your kid was just kind of a victim of circumstance. So he's kind of like, he's sympathetic for sure, but he tries to kind of.
He's just trying to hit her with science
she
in
doesn't
a place
wanna hear
where you kind of get the sense that she's in this remote village far away from society. So there's like a lot of superstition that seems to be there.
They don't
and,
hold a lot of warm regard for the wolves. Don't they like refer
Yeah.
to them as like demons or like this place is cursed
Yeah.
and like the.
And then the old lady tells a monologue about how like during the
Right.
there was some plague that hit the town in like the 20s
Right.
and all the wolves went feral and ate all the bodies that were stacked
Yeah,
up
so
there,
like the book really gets into like an old story, where when I was a child, the kind of the old wise woman kind of but they call her a witch at a she's also like a holy woman / witch just / town elder, and then kind of describes like there was like a plague and some poor guy basically got thrown on the pile when he wasn't quite dead yet, and then had to just get eaten. They threw everyone into an igloo or something like that, right? Because they had TB or something horrible, or the pox.
Yeah.
Something horrible, right? The goddamn white man brought over to them, so
right.
So they just, so yeah. Horrible.
So all this, like the only reason, like when I had first heard about this book, because they were being vague about the plot description, I had assumed that it was going to be something like that Liam Neeson movie, The Grey, where it's just a bunch of people in Alaska versus a bunch of wolves.
Right.
But really, the wolves are only there like thematically,
Right.
or like they're basically there as symbolism for other characters, and they rarely come into play.
Oh
for the
yeah,
rest
no,
of the story.
they're kind of like. They're less involved in the zombies in Walking Dead or something. You know what I mean? Where they're just kind of in the background. You know what I mean? But if you want wolf gore, there's none to be had, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're better off seeing.
Sorry, wolf gore fans. I know. I know
I mean,
there's a big contingent of you out there.
Yeah. So keep it moving. But So to kind of so things go awry. So by happenstance, her husband Vernon Sloan gets dinged and kind of by a bullet in Iraq, and then kind of gets sent home on a Purple Heart deal. So he comes back, and he had kind of gotten word somewhere between wherever they send you to Germany and they patch you up and they send you back. I can't imagine Iraq to Alaska, what that kind of just layover schedule must be,
wow.
While you're grieving a dead kid at
but
the same time,
Jesus
probably
Christ,
not great.
Yeah. So we should mention, by the way, it turns out the mom killed the kid.
All right, you're really jumping. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, yeah.
But yeah, no, actually, you're right about you're falling in line. So yeah, it's so Jeffrey Wright. He goes out in search of the wolf. Right, doesn't really accomplish anything. He sees a pack. In the book, he kind of fires some shots at them to kind of spook them. In the movie, he just falls down a damn cliff or something, and then
it was like
there's this kind of moment where they're like teasing, like, "Will the wolves get him? Ooh, I don't know." And then, of course, nothing. You know what I mean? So he just kind of nothing happens,
and it's so clear that they were never in the same spot. Like it's so I felt very like apparent. Like I felt like I was like seeing the wolf trainer just off camera,
right?
In the shots with the wolves.
Yeah, those were great wolves too, by the way. Those were some well-eaten wolves.
The cutaways. Yeah, I liked when they were doing the binocular shots of them fighting over the carcass of whatever it was.
That was a pup, man. That was a wolf pup.
Oh, yeah. It's more thematic stuff and everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was brutal. So he's kind of out there. He's trudging around. He comes back because he hiked, a couple hours hike out to try to track him down, something like that.
Yeah, and it's like 5 hours of sunlight because this is Alaska.
He comes back to the village. Medora Sloan, the woman, the mom, she's nowhere to be found. He's looking through the house. Where is she? He goes into the basement. Bop! There's a dead kid in there. There's a dead kid, just shrink wrapped. He starts freaking out. he starts yelling, "Hey, I need help! I need help! She killed him! She killed him!" Blah blah blah. You know, and then Vernon Sloan kind of arrives home within about a day of that or something like that.
Yeah, it's like, so, congratulations, you survived Iraq. Oh, by the way,
your kid's
and
dead.
Yeah, it's like the mom never tells him.
Right. Well, the story was the damn wolves, and when I think he was number 3, and there's been a history, you can just kind of throw him on the pile. You know what I mean? Of like, well, I guess I got another one. So it's
those wolves.
Yeah, it's wolves. So the movie and the book have a very clear shift at this point. So, like, the first act is Core trying to figure out, okay, I'm going, this is a murder mystery, whoa. And then it shifts very, very...
it turns into No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, like, it becomes...
We switch protagonists, pretty much.
Right, so this is where the movie struggles, because they go, well, how do I shoe in Jeffrey Wright into the rest of the story, where Core basically, after he's really just the first act.
He kind of bookends the story, but like I was surprised how much of the story was basically Sloan.
Yeah, so Sloan becomes kind of the main character here at this point, and there's so little dialogue coming out of him that you think you just go, okay, well he's on a revenge murder spree basically. So he comes back, he meets the bumbling Barney Fife local cops who kind of just are clueless. He's met with his friend. His friend is kind of a native guy named Cheon, and basically, they go to the morgue. He sees the body. He's not really. I mean, he's pretty emotionless, right? They get Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, he doesn't even really
just
cry.
Yeah, no.
Like I think he has like maybe a tear or something like that, but he's very composed when he sees the body.
Right. This is a classic Skarsgård role where he literally just can you just stare blankly into oblivion? You know what I mean? And like perfect.
Yeah. He plays a lot of dads. I noticed too.
Right?
He's always
because he's not a dad in real life. I don't think.
Yeah, he's like not what I'd first think for that sort of stuff.
No,
but he was definitely like I think a good choice for this sort of role. Though.
Oh yeah,
it feels very in his wheelhouse.
Oh yeah, kind of a murder psycho. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you just have to stand there looking crazy and intimidating for most.
Yeah,
of the movie.
he nailed it. Yeah, so he did great. Yeah. And then so they're kind of meeting with the cops. So one of the cops basically takes Jeffrey Wright's Core character away from the scene. And Vernon Sloan basically ganks the other 2 cops that are there. They're like, hey, we've got some leads here. We're going to go track Medora down, blah, blah, blah. And
right
just,
in the head.
Just 45s them right in the head. Just out in a parking lot. They just capped his 2 cops,
I'm thinking that's like trying to be like I know a lot of people do that, but I'm definitely getting the sense that Jeremy Saulnier is like that's like one of his signatures or something like that. Because
what is that? Headshots or cops getting?
No. Well, just like somebody getting shot like in the middle of like delivering a monologue, or like the unexpected. You just got shot in the face.
Right. You don't think this person's about to get shot in the head? Oh, they did.
Yeah. Right. In the middle of a sentence or something.
Yeah.
So
then you kind of think it's like, all right, well, Vernon Sloan, he's just on a murderous rampage. He's got to track down his wife. He wants to find her before the cops can, so that he can kill her and seek the revenge that he's not going to get if she's just thrown in Orange is the New Black. You know what I mean?
Right. And then the cops are trying, like, in a way, racing to save her, which is also kind of reminded me of No Country for Old Men. Like, three layers of people chasing each other and shit.
Right. So here comes Cheon to kind of like, he's like, in the film they kind of set it up a little bit better, I thought, where he kind of goes, hey, I'll give you a head start. And you're like, I wonder what that's about. Yeah. And then, so basically what his plan was to, the cops kind of go in to question Cheon because the boy's body has been taken. Vernon Sloan is no longer here.
And he is also one of the parents whose
right,
kid has
and he's best friends with
right?
Vernon Sloan. So they go right over to Cheon's house and go, hey, can you come in for some questioning? And he basically tells them to go F off. And then then
comes the coolest scene of both the book and the movie. Yeah. Like I loved it's for sure my favorite part of each, and I just loved how like both the book and the movie came to a dead halt for like this awesome like heat level just cops versus bad guy shootout. Like
it was pretty brutal because the cops are horrible in both.
They got like all of the shittiest cops in all of Alaska. And they kind everyone there was like 14 too.
Yeah, they're like, hey, listen, I know a lot of these guys are green. Who was the guy? Was he from on The Mentalist or something? He's the
the kid that. Wait, which he's
guy?
Like are you talking about the main cop?
Yeah, the detective. I'm trying to remember his name.
The one competent. Hold up. It's
he's the one guy you go. Oh, I remember him from that thing. He's basically
the mustache guy.
Yeah, he's the cop with the mustache. In the book, he's more kind of like an older, bumbling idiot, kind of whatever.
Merriam, right?
Yeah. Is it Millennium?
Merriam?
Merriam.
Donald Merriam? Or are you talking about the actor or the guy?
No idea, yeah. Merriam was the character, I think, right?
Yeah, and then the actor is James Badge Dale.
There you go.
Okay.
He's like, oh, isn't he from Gotham? No, I think it's that other guy.
Generic white guy
basically,
actor.
Right, yeah. He looks, he's like, I know he's from some CBS drama.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He definitely looks like some sort of primetime shitty TV show candidate.
Exactly. So they kind of, make his character a little bit better, but he's basically the only one who survives. Him and Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright's hiding under cars and shit, trying to save people and, save Arnie.
This was another part. Well, this was another part between the book and the movie where they try to shoehorn Jeffrey Wright in, because Jeffrey Wright is, his character in the book is like in a motel somewhere during the shootout. He is like, I think they compressed time a little bit because they have him find the body of the old town witch or whatever, who's the first victim of Alexander Skarsgård, and then he happens to stumble upon the cops in the middle of the shootout. But I did kind of like that aspect of the shootout, though, because it kept on cutting over to his perspective, so you could kind of see from underneath the car where he was cowering, like seeing all these cops just getting like headshots, and like the one guy.
Oh, I'd be hiding under that car too.
Dude, I wouldn't be anywhere near it.
Just to describe it for if you haven't read either, you haven't seen the movie. Basically, you got a man in a barn with a bolted-in M60 on a turret, just taking out like 23-year-old rookie cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's like 15 cops
Saving
outside.
Private Ryan, but in Alaska.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're getting off the boat.
Yeah, and they're it's almost comical how like pathetic they are compared to this one dude with a machine gun. Like, I think most of them get taken out like almost immediately too.
Yeah, this is like, every cop in America that's like, yeah. That's why we have all-terrain vehicles and body armor, and that's why the cops in America look like they're ready to storm Osama bin Laden's compound. You know what I mean? Because they're thinking that shit like this is around every corner. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're not going to get caught off guard and M60 to death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're ready for Call of Duty kind of shit. So that was the best. I mean, best action scene in the whole movie. Best action scene in the book, probably. And then just to kind of skip ahead, a lot of rigmarole, a lot of, this and that. Interesting, I was like, all right, where's the director's buddy going to come in? I know he's got a role in this goddamn thing. So I was like, oh.
Well, when I read the book, I was like, oh, that's definitely Macon Blair's character.
Macon Blair, yeah. And just like Macon Blair and the director kind of grew up together in like the, Alexandria, kind of Northern Virginia. And Macon Blair went to VCU, which is the proud university of Mr. Andrew Volpe.
Yep.
And what is the mascot?
The Rams.
Okay.
For the basketball team.
Yeah. I was like, well, the school's mascot. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Oh, the school's mascot? I don't know.
Well, it's the same thing as the basketball team. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it should be.
If you can't tell, Mr. Volpe is a huge sports fan, and he attends almost every sporting event he can get a hold of. So
it's not, I went to the art school. Cut me some slack.
So, I mean, does this guy ever come back? He ever, like, was he...
I definitely worked on movies that, like, it sounds really lame, but I know people... I've worked with people that worked with him.
Please drop all the names you got.
I don't really know, but, like, I'd work with, like, I worked on a music video where, like, the makeup chick worked on Blue Ruin and, like, is friends with him and everything like that, but yeah, it's definitely a pretty cool story to, it's nice to know when people can make it. And I think when, Macon Blair and Saulnier kind of made Blue Ruin, it was like they had put their money together and like pretty much invested everything together to try to get the movie off the ground, and that ended up being like this huge success story. So
because basically they kind of grew up together as best friends from like early childhood, and then kind of went back and forth, and he was kind of a better actor, so they kind of built Blue Ruin kind of around him to try to give him kind of a leading man role, just to get him into kind of something. And I didn't know this, but he did the screenplay for this. So he was...
Yeah, I think he was the one that actually was trying to push to get this one made in the first place.
Because that's what, the director saw. He kind of described it as like, he kind of custom built this movie for me. And I was like, yeah, this sounds, like he can plug right in. So they work together, because he's really only in the film for... I mean, his screen time might be 5 minutes, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, and he tends to always play the type of role that he plays in this, where he's either like, he seems like he's like turning into a nice character actor as like the squirrely guy that shows up, that you remember. He's memorable even if he's in it for only a few minutes or whatever.
Right. And then what was he? He was like the assistant to the head Nazi in Green Room or something. He was like Patrick Stewart's like right-hand man or something.
And he ended up directing a movie himself that's on Netflix. That's honestly a much better movie than this, called I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore.
I don't want to live in this world anymore, or something like that. For any of those out there, I'd highly recommend you check out that. So a lot of talent behind this, but it was nice when he showed up in the movie. But I was kind of like, I feel like at that point, because basically we should kind of track Sloane's journey a little bit, because he ends up running into a few people before he runs into Macon Blair. Mm-hmm. But basically, the rest of the movie is just Sloane going on a killing spree, right? Right. Like, so he kills a number of people, both in the book and the film. So it's pretty consistent. So he kills. Let's see. He tries to kill. Let's see here. Okay, the order of events. He goes and finds kind of a remote cabin, hotel / whatever. Right. He talks to the medicine man, right?
Yeah, and then he gets that's where he finds out he was there when he was a kid, and like his wife had stopped there too.
Right.
So it's the
book.
Like,
the book was pretty nasty. I thought the scene, where he's kind of
sniffing her sheets.
She's like, well, just FYI, your wife, she stayed because he's tracking her. Have you seen this woman? Did she stay here? There's really nowhere to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere else she could have possibly stayed for a night. So he knows, like, hey, she's got a pretty good chance that she happened upon this place. Right. The woman kind of who owns the place, she's like, yeah, I haven't changed the sheets. Hope that's not a problem. He's like,
Right.
He goes up there. She stained the sheets with, some sort of something.
I assume that's only one thing. And,
the book goes into detail. Like, he starts licking the stain. And
yeah. It definitely added this whole, like, sexual dimension to this, revenge. Like, is he chasing her because he's, it seems like a sexy game of cat and mouse.
Yeah, real sexy.
I don't know if sexy is the right word.
Yeah,
but,
licking stained, soiled sheets on disgusting mattresses in a shack in Alaska somewhere. You know what I mean? So the book is pretty brutal in this regard. Let's see, what else? The book also kind of included the childbirth scene that I didn't need.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they, how could you forget?
Well,
I had to stop it and listen to the radio for a while, because I'm typically listening to these books when I'm driving to and from work or whatever, you know what I mean?
Eating a sandwich or something that'll make you lose your appetite.
I'm going to take a little break, you know what I mean? And I was like, they're just kind of describing, imagine childbirth in a small village in Alaska where there's kind of native women and
well, the weird witch lady was one of the people that helped him to deliver the baby,
for
right?
Sure.
Wasn't she?
Yeah.
And
the baby's like breaching, but they had to they had
C-section
to
her or something.
Get that razor. No, it wasn't a C-section, brother.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, totally.
What's that?
I had a motorcycle just drove by.
Go tell him to stop. Yeah, no. So there's scenes in the book where you're just like, you know what? I hope that's not in the movie.
Getting cut for the movie. But the one thing is, in the book, it kind of explained a little bit more of Medora's feelings. Like, it told you that Medora kind of had, like, I don't know, it implied that she didn't want the baby. Like, they go a little bit more set it up into their backstory.
Something was wrong with the baby, or the baby's cursed or something, right? Where,
right,
like,
and in the book, they have this whole scene where when she's pregnant, they
throw the...
What is it? Vernon and her encounter like some weird drifter that tells them the baby's cursed.
Right. That's
another.
Like I thought that was another great one. Yeah, where he's like, because basically he's on a. They kind of throw back to the scene where Bailey and him are on a father-son fishing trip or something, and he's kind of like trying to kind of explain when it's necessary to kill other people. You know what I mean? Because he's in the army or the military. And he's kind of...
Yeah, he's like, your teachers tell you that killing is wrong, but...
Because he's like, my teacher says killing people is wrong. And he goes, yeah, you're going to hear that a lot. But, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. He's like, well, when did... Mom said you killed people. And he's like, yep, I had to one time, or something. And he's like, well, what happened? And like, well, this bad man came to town, and he was to protect you and your mom. I had to kill him, And it was basically, it was like a drifter, and... You know what I mean? Probably just the old beatnik or something. You know what I mean? It just kind of, but he was creepy. You know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah, that was well done in the book. It was definitely like, I could kind of see why it was almost justified in the book. And it probably explains maybe more of this penchant for killing that he gets.
Oh, yeah. He's got a taste for it, for sure.
Yeah. I feel like they had a little bit more time to set it up because, once again in the movie, it just like... around halfway through the movie, it starts just becoming, okay, meet this person, kill him, meet this person, kill him.
Yeah, and he likes to kill people with knives. You know what I mean? That's one thing. He doesn't just shoot people. He kills the guy in Iraq in the book, and in the film, he kind of kills a rapist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of finds a fellow American raping an Iraqi chick, and in the book does the same. Basically, the movie version played out the exact same way, I think, right? So.
Yeah, I think all the Iraq stuff was like pretty faithful.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess they couldn't really fit it in. It didn't make sense, whatever. But they didn't really establish why he kind of killed this drifter. It didn't really matter. But as we kind of move along in the story.
So basically, he talks to the medicine man, finds out he was there when he was a kid, and also that Medora had also been there. Is that where he gets the wolf mask?
Yeah, so...
That's where he gets the wolf mask in the
Medora
movie, right?
had already had a wolf mask when, and she put it on in the film when she does the whole nude scene with Jeremy Wright.
They both start putting on the wolf mask whenever they start doing something weird in the movie, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a good precursor to weird shit's going to happen. Putting on a weird wooden driftwood mask of wolves. Yeah, but they get where they need to go is what the guy says, right? You're welcome to have one. He was cool. The book really kind of did it more justice. You know what I mean? You got to know this guy a little bit better.
Yeah, that's my one real, honestly, probably the biggest beef with the movie is as he's on this journey and he's meeting different people. Like the book, I don't know if it's just because it's the novel and it had just more time to like let you know the characters and everything. But in the movie, it just felt like. He'll meet someone, they'll give they'll have a scene together, and then he kills him. And it just felt like you didn't really have enough time to get to know the character as well to have the murder be affecting. Right.
Because, no, I totally agree. Yeah.
Because the medicine man, he was a cool character in the movie too. It just felt like you didn't have enough time with him really, like because he delivers a couple of pieces of information that Vernon needs to know, and then Vernon turns around, puts on the wolf mask, and then what does he do? Does he shoot him or does
he shoots him because it spooks? In the book, I thought he knifed him because didn't he like open his throat basically or slash his throat or didn't he jab him right into the heart? I'm trying to remember.
Well, in the book,
he's got so many knife kills. You know what I mean?
Well. I remember the thing that sticks out in my mind in the book isn't that where the medicine man has story about like a bear he killed or something,
dude.
and like
Oh
he's got the
God.
pelt
No,
in
hold
there.
on a second. This is the great. I'm so glad you reminded me of this. This is what I'm talking about. He goes the medicine man goes on a fucking jag about the time that he killed Bigfoot.
Oh yeah,
And you're like,
yeah, it was
what?
Bigfoot.
What? Like he's just like
about that.
He's like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, this is
Yeah, because
incredible.
it's not like a regular. Yeah, they even say it's like that's not any other creature that they've seen before. Or something. Yeah,
And
that was
my kind of like, and Sloane's like unflinching reaction to hearing about this, because he goes into he's like, I came upon a female with her child, or
her little kid
the little
or
kid
something,
Bigfoot. And then he just casually, he's like, I was watching them, through the sight, and just kind of observing them. And then he's like, the little one didn't even make a sound when the bullet went through its head. You know what I mean? Like, but the mother started wailing as she was trying to push the head together like a Jackie Kennedy on the back of the presidential car, when JFK's gets blown apart. You know what I mean? So like she's trying to explain, he's trying to explain to the female, and I guess he ganked the female too, and he's like, I tried to come back for the baby, but the body was already gone. And he's like, tasted the meat. I ate well that winter. The meat tasted a little gamey, but I've never felt, talking about the kind of the vibrance he had, basically, that it made him feel like a goddamn superhero after he'd eaten the Bigfoot meat, that he was chasing this dragon. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you get Bigfoot's powers after.
Yeah, basically, he was like, I've never felt so alive. I never felt so, vigorated. The Chinese listeners are probably like, oh, we got to get some of this Bigfoot shit and chop its penis off, dry it out, and boil it in a fucking stew. But it was an incredible story that he just goes off of. You know what I mean?
Like, that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. Like, if you had a character show up and tell a story like that's that fucking weird and memorable,
it doesn't get
and then he gets offed.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, this guy has some great fucking stories. I wish he didn't just get knifed.
Yeah, like he feels like more of a character instead of a plot point. Right. Like I'd want to hear more crazy Bigfoot stories from this guy.
Exactly. He's worth at least a Bigfoot story or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he gets in the film, I thought he dies via knife, because that's Vernon's kind of jam. In the book, for sure, and in the movie, too. But in the movie, he shoots him, which spooks kind of the woman. The woman in the
hotel.
Who owns the kind of house, bed and breakfast kind of shack, whatever. And so Vernon's like, oh, my work's done here. I'm just going to truck it on along. And next thing he knows, he's getting shot. He's taking fire from the porch as this woman is, unloading on him. So he's like, shit, I got to get out of here. I don't know. It's like, did he forget that he's like a highly trained military man and that he has a gun? I'm just going to take fire and try to get out of here. Jeez. I mean, it's not his MO to leave a witness, clearly.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, I don't know. I guess in the book it made equally as little sense.
Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on in the book. I was like, what woman is this shooting?
Well, the thing is, in the book, it kind of felt a little bit more like he was getting, like, shot from all sides. Or, like, it felt like she was putting more bullets in the car, so maybe he did just decide to cut and run. But in the movie,
I was confused in the book. I thought it was Medora hiding behind a damn rock or something, just shooting at him.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't her. Got it.
It might have been like, because it doesn't go on too long. It's basically, she puts a few holes in the car, and then, Vernon gets a bullet in the side. So maybe that's the reason why he decided just to cut and run.
Yeah, so he gets nailed right in the shoulder, and he basically heads right for his old buddy. You know what I mean? Who is played by Macon Blair, who is the actor, real life, the screenwriter, the best friend of the director, things like that. He's the guy that's always in Blue Ruin. He's the guy that we were kind of talking about earlier. VCU grad.
Yeah.
Proud
Rams,
VCU. Go Rams. And so the book scene with him is quite a bit better. Would you agree? I mean,
yeah, I think so. I mean, once again, it felt like in the movie, this, like, by the time they get to Macon Blair, it almost feels perfunctory. Like, you don't really get any time with them. Like, it's kind of, that's another almost standard scene in these, like, revenge movies where you have to go meet up with someone and get a bullet pulled out of you. Like, but yeah, I don't know. It just felt you kind of get a little bit of a better sense of his character in the book. I felt like
he's much skeevier, kind of in the book, where he's kind of like, what is he?
He's more of an addict.
He's like a oxy pill popping, like drug dealer kind of a thing.
And you also get a sense of their history a little bit more. They talk a little bit more about like growing up together and like how his ex-wife, he needs money for his ex-wife.
Right, his ex-wife is just on his, she's just on his back, trying to get those child support payments, trying to get that sweet drug dealer alimony, and because I'm trying to remember how they get into it, but they talk about how, Vernon's like, hey, who took care of your, who buried your mom when you and your dad were too broken up about it, and he's like, hey, I haven't forgotten about that. Because he initially kind of goes like, hey, man, you got to keep it moving because I got my own shit. I got the heat, the heat is on me for all my shady shit that I'm doing with the pills and everything. So you got to keep on moving. And Sloane's like, dude, you got to take this bullet out of my shoulder. You know what I mean? Right. You owe me. I buried your dead mom. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, dude, of course. Like, I haven't forgot about that, but, like, just saying, dude. He's kind of like a weaselly, like, kind of puss that the kid that you grew up with, you can always convince to do anything kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the book, he's I know this is kind of nitpicky, but like in the movie, Macon Blair, looks kind of normal. He's got long hair and a beard, but like in the book, I think he's supposed to be like shaved head and like tattoos, and like it just the way I pictured him was a little skeezier than I feel like they did it in the movie.
Probably has some pretty close ties to neo-Nazi fascists, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was picturing basically Macon Blair in Green Room instead of the way it was in this.
Yeah. So I mean, the scenes where they kind of extract the bullet are a little bit more in depth. He talks about having to sew up through all the layers of skin and all that good stuff.
And then
complains a lot.
The whole thing with Vernon not knowing, the whole you're drugged up, but you're also not sure if the person that's operating on you is trustworthy and everything like that. Like, it felt like there was more tension there. And then, so basically the scene plays out, he ends up recuperating, and then Vernon basically turns around and kills him. But I like the way they do it in the book.
Right. The book is interesting because they're in some sort of, not a house or a building or an apartment or something, a duplex.
It's a mechanic shop, isn't it?
Yeah, but it has other people banging in another room. Right? And so he goes, hey, sorry, man, my dad built this place.
Yeah, I think in the book they say that Macon Blair rents out a room for prostitutes or something.
Right,
or maybe it's a motor lodge or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, someone got one of the rent-a-girls or something. Or was that a different scene or something?
No, they mentioned that. I can't remember if it's in... I think it's just in the book, maybe not in the movie or something. But he's like, the walls are very thin because my dad... who's cheap as hell, built this place as cheap as hell. He cut every corner, so there's no insulation in the walls. Sorry, the walls are just basically drywall or whatever. So, like, that's where the noise comes from. And then that same, the irony of that is that basically, he kind of is trying to... Is it his name's Sham? I can't remember. It's something like that, right? It's like one syllable, horrible name or something, yeah. Yeah, like, who has the type of name kind of name?
Exactly, yeah. So he kind of he's trying to he's got those damn alimony payments. He's got to pay off these cops. You know what I mean? He's got to get some brownie points. So he calls the cops and is like, hey, I want some damn reward money. You know what I mean? I got your killer right here. He's on a damn rampage.
And then Alexander Skarsgård walks in with the wolf mask. Is he on the phone with them?
Yeah, he kind of hears them, or he heard the conversation. But it kind of made up his mind. He's like, oh, this guy's, his usefulness is up. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and kill him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the book that's the one thing is like I wish they kind of showed, because in the book it's like he like puts the shotgun right to his head and like just blows it off point blank or something, right? Didn't he? Wasn't it a
getting all my book deaths mixed up? Yeah,
yeah. I think I just remember it in the book. Macon Blair's character's death was like super brutal, like, and it's like one of those one word things, but it's like talking about like how the shattered pieces of a skull went everywhere, or something like that. And then I think in the movie they just kind of cut away.
The only, if I'm honest, the only death I cared about is Bigfoot. You know, it's just
R.I.P. Bigfoot.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, there's a lot of drug dealers. You know, there's skeevy pill popping losers, whatever. But how many Bigfoots are there? You know what I mean? Like that one really shook me, dude. If I'm honest, you know what I mean? So from there, it kind of shifts back to Core, where Core in the film, he's kind of like a little bit more of a go-getter. In the book, he's kind of a bumbling moron, older cop.
I wouldn't say like bumbling. He's still the most competent cop in town of a bunch of incompetent cops.
Yeah, well, no.
But so basically, he in the book and a little bit in the movie, more so in the book, like Donald Merriam, who is the kind of, I guess, the chief of police in town or something like that, or the neighboring town.
Right? Yeah, he basically in the book he kidnaps Core basically.
Yeah,
and says, "Hey."
Well, and you have a little bit of attachment to him because he's like the one guy that like survived that whole gunfight and was kind of the hero of that. So, in a weird way, Core and Miriam kind of develop a little bit of a bonding time together. Like, Miriam's wife is pregnant, so he like brings him home to meet her and everything. It's basically all this set up for him so they can build this little relationship and then have the two of them go off into this one remote part of the woods.
Yeah, but because that's the movie version. The book version is like, oh, hey, you're the only witness I have to where like this hot spring hideout might be. You're going to come sleep in a room down the hall from me so that you don't escape. And then we're going to get on a plane tomorrow and you're going to tell me where it is. That's just basically kidnapping, brother.
Pretty aggressive, yeah.
So in the film, it's like Jeffrey Wright starts going, she mentioned a hot spring, and they pull out the map. Let's work together. That's Scooby-Doo, that's MacGyver, this shit. And then they work together. In the film, it's much more, in the book, it's like, you're my only lead, and you're going to show me where this hot spring is. You know what I mean?
I've got like 20 dead people on my hands, so you're coming with me.
Can I just not, am I under arrest? You're kidnapping me to get into a bush plane in Alaska. Does that sound correct?
That's also what he gets for fucking sticking around in, the devil's asshole in the most, like in the book, it's like he just kind of sticks around in town for like a week and a half because he's sick or something.
Right. He gets the flu or something. And they bring up like, why didn't you leave? And he was like, I don't know. I just thought I had questions to answer or something. I don't know.
Even in the book, I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah. I would have been like, see you later. Ooh, this place seems bad.
Murder spree going on in the middle of nowhere. I got no reason to stay here.
You know what I don't need? To be the key star witness in the Arctic Circle. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And I also that's what I get for answering letters from crazy people.
Yeah, exactly. Catch me on the next flight.
Right.
See you later. So
he's not that smart, and they end up going to this hot spring together, right?
Well, so they're trying to track down this hot spring that Medora Sloan mentioned might be a good place to get clean. So that's
symbolism.
Yeah, pretty creepy, pretty damn creepy. So they're kind of trudging it. They're trudging it. Next thing you know, what's his name? The police chief, Merriam. He just takes an arrow right to the damn neck, right to the compound bow arrow. Boom. Right to the neck. He's bleeding out. He's dead in 5 seconds. Jeffrey Wright is like, we got to scramble. We got to get him behind a rock. Like that's going to do anything. So he makes a futile attempt to save this poor man's life. Not going to happen. His child will grow up without a father. And he just, shucking and jiving and is like, grabs the gun, starts like just fires a shot blindly into the woods. Like that's going to do anything. Right. And then, in the book, he kind of, makes his way to the spring, gets in there, finds Medora Sloan. She's like laying there, doesn't want to say anything to him, won't say anything. In the movie, pretty much similar, right? Pretty. I mean, she kind of does she mutter some psychobabble or something to him in the movie? Something weird.
I think it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't start deviating from the book, I think, until a little bit later.
Right.
But yeah, basically, he shows up, he sees her, and says like, "Hey, your husband's trying to kill you.
We got to get out of here. Yeah, you're in danger." And then boom,
surprise!
Oh, he takes an arrow.
Mask.
He takes an arrow right into the damn chest. You know what I mean?
And then he gets to sit and watch Medora and Vernon at first almost kill each other, or Vernon almost kill Medora, and then they decide to have animalistic sex in front of him.
Right. So this is kind of the thing in the book. You're like, is he going to kill her? What's going on? This is the big reveal. Oh, they're banging. Oh, okay, all right. Well, they've made peace. You know what I mean? Yeah. Child death, you got to move past it. These two haven't seen each other for, I don't know how long that deployment was.
Into that dead baby kink and everything.
That grieving parent kink.
Yeah, and then poor Jeffrey Wright, literally can't do anything. He's got an arrow sticking out of his chest, and he can't move.
So he's just like, oh, God, this has gone from bad to worse. You know what I mean? But, in the book, they kind of established that this was kind of their, they'd sneak away. This wasn't their make-out point. You know what I mean? Like, they'd sneak away to this when they were kids, teenagers growing up together and bang in the hot springs and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So then,
as he did.
So Jeffrey Wright, he's having very much...
and it's at this point, I guess it's... I think in the movie it's less of a twist, but, in the book... it's when Core realizes, oh, hey, these two are twins.
Yeah. Well, whatever, so he doesn't realize that, though, until he gets rescued and he's getting worked on by their mom.
Yes. In the book, in the movie, it kind of just doesn't even bother. So this is my biggest problem with the movie, is that none of this is revealed. None of it's alluded to strongly enough. If I show Ash this movie, she hasn't read the book. If I show her this movie... Yeah. She won't get it.
She's not going to get it. What is her conclusion here?
I mean, I feel like it's I see, that's the thing. It's hard to tell because I read the book, but I feel like, I mean, even in the book, I felt like I could see that coming because they hinted at that so much, and just from the get-go,
what are you talking about?
No, as soon as she was like, "Oh, I've always known him," it was like he was always there, and they're the only two blonde-haired, Nordic-looking people in a village of native people. That I don't know. That strikes, the incest twist is something that's been done a lot over time.
The classic incest twist in the land of the Lannisters, in the time of the thrones. You know what I mean? So I was like, ugh.
Yeah, but but yeah, I mean, I guess I think the clue in the movie that tipped it off, the closest thing to them spelling it out in the movie, and I think I read an interview where Saulnier said that they had shot a scene where they spell it out, but he decided that he didn't want to include it. But I think they show a picture of them together as kids, and they, it looks like a family photo. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, but that's still kind of tough, though. You know what I mean? Because, I was like, well, maybe the wolf oil type stuff, though. Your dad didn't think you were right, boy. So I gave him the wolf oil. I was like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? What about this girl? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What's going on here?
I wish they had kind of spelled out a little bit of what their parents were like in both the book and the movie. The movie's even bigger than the book, but even the book doesn't... I think they allude to... their dad shot himself at some point, and
the mom's clearly no prize. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and then all the villagers keep on saying there's something unnatural about them, and there's something weird, or they're cursed or some shit.
They're pushing the old live and let live to the absolute damn extreme when you got siblings banging, putting out kids, killing their damn kids, and then going on murderous rampages.
I wish I knew how they ended up in the village, what their family history is a little bit. How do you end up in the most remote part of the world with twins that are banging and shit like that?
Well, I mean,
there's another story.
But
there.
It was weird because they had help from the other people. This is something
the village was supporting that. Basically,
they were just down for the cause. And I was like, well, you guys are crazy for this.
What happens in Alaska stays in Alaska.
Live and you got to do what you got to do, kind of thing. You got to bang your sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Cheon his friend, Sloane's friend, had kind of helped, and they kind of reveal this more at the end, where they kind of like had like a damn bunker of supplies, and they had a whole plan, a game plan of like escaping into the
like
woods,
where to go,
and where to meet, and how to work at night. Remember that? I mean, they're talking about how like make sure they stay away from planes, and you're undercover. You're only moving around at night and gathering supplies. She's got to go fish at night because they don't want to get seen. I mean, this is a very well orchestrated thing. None of this is in the damn movie.
Well, yeah, and okay, so my biggest beef was, there's this whole thing about how Medora is pregnant again, and that's kind of one of the reasons why they're going on the run. And there's even an implication at the very end of the book that even though they're together and they're supposed to be happy and everything like that, she wakes up in the middle of the night with a knife like out, like about to slit Vernon's throat. So it kind of implies that, this is going to happen again, or, there's nothing, it's not over and everything. Whereas in the movie, you kind of just get a shot of them walking off into the woods together, and that's pretty much it, It's much less satisfying. I felt like the book had like kind of hit you with a bunch of stuff really quick the last few pages, and it kind of like left you with a lot to think about, whereas in the movie it just ends basically.
Yeah, the movie and I thought it was a pretty faithful, entertaining adaptation up until the last 10 minutes, where I'm just like, Jeffrey Wright is in his hospital bed, his daughter comes to see, she goes, "What the hell happened?" He goes, I'll tell you a story, I'll tell you all about it. And then then fade to black, it's like, all right, well, you don't I mean, are you gonna you should tell the rest of these poor people that are watching your damn movie what happened, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could spell it out. I mean, he wouldn't even really have that much of a story to tell. Like, I feel like he wasn't there for all the vital parts, but I don't know. I and that's the thing, is like, I don't know if I feel disappointed because I know what was in the book and what they decided not to include, but I still feel like I would have been not satisfied with that ending had I not read the book.
Yeah, no, there's no closure at all. Why did they kill their child? Where are they going? Why are they doing whatever there's absolutely no explanation.
I mean, I do like, they definitely try to spell out, like, basically they're feral and everything like that, and they have different sets of roles and everything. And there's it felt like it was calling back to that earlier scene where Core is getting attacked by the two wolves and gets spared by them or whatever. Like, there's some parallels there, but it just kind of, I would have been kind of ticked off even seeing this movie cold with that ending, I think. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, it is.
I still think it's, I think, my qualms with the movie still don't make me think any less of both Saulnier and Macon Blair. Like, I think they're great talents. There's a lot of good stuff in this movie, and I would be interested in maybe watching it again, like, I don't know, 6 months from now, a year from now, maybe with a fresh set of eyes and seeing if there's more to take away from it. But I'm still super interested in what they're going to do next, and it's got a great cast, and it's got that action scene in the middle is almost worth the price of admission, I'd say.
Oh, there you go. It's getting, I think it's about 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, if that means a damn thing to anyone.
I'm very curious because I was assuming that Netflix was going to like try to promote this a little bit more, but I didn't even get like a notification from Netflix that this came on. Like, I haven't seen a commercial for it or anything.
They've been doing the rounds promoting it, but not to the normies. You know what I mean? Like, I watch, I'm on YouTube all day, you know what I mean? So I see it all, I see them going to do like build series and the super obscure stuff. No one knows what I'm talking about. But they've been doing the rounds. God bless them. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I turned on Netflix and was like, okay, where is it? I'm watching it on TV. I have it on, through the PlayStation 4, trying to find it.
Yeah.
It's not on trending. It's not on popular. It's not.
Yeah, it's like not even on their, like, I thought they'd like put it.
I had to search
as
for
one
the
of
damn
the
movie. I had to search.
Yeah,
for
like it feels like they're burying it, kind of,
I'm like,
which is weird. I don't know.
Very strange. I'm like, I have to search for this.
Movie. I have to dig this out for this thing that you didn't promote at all. Yeah, but I don't know. Are you ashamed, Netflix? What's up?
Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange. I can't believe you have a big Friday release. Just put it out. Like what? Like why make us wait?
You don't have to do much.
Like, just put it out then. Like if you're gonna just bury it like this, go ahead and put it out. I don't know. Maybe it's a glitch.
Yeah, and I don't like I could understand it if like I don't know, the new Adam Sandler movie came out this week or something as well. But I don't think they have anything else new. So why are you not just promoting the thing that you have that's new? But
all right, well.
Netflix works in mysterious ways,
as they do, So, but there you go. You know what I mean? We try our best. We try to remember as much as we can. I'm driving through listening to these. Mr. Volpe is reading them on a cell phone. So we do our best. You know what I mean? We're doing the best we can. We're gonna keep trying to find those.
Try
gems.
to find the next big adaptation. That will be translated into a movie that we'll hate. So, I'm sure there'll be something.
We'll keep our eye out. Any upcoming adaptations you guys want to hear us complain about? Drop them in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. Let
us know what you got. So, thank you guys so much for listening. You can find us at thedisorderly.com. We're publishing stuff every day. Come check it out. You can find us on Twitter at Disorderly Media. You can find us on Facebook at Disorderly ENT. And, please like, share, subscribe, comment, leave us hate mail, whatever you got. We'll take it. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Have a good one.